Britain is not usually a country associated with poverty, but the UK has seen an alarming increase in food bank use in recent years. Living costs have risen and the price of the weekly shop for many households has become too much.
There's over 13 million people living in poverty in the UK. Food bank use is at an all-time high. Britain's largest food bank network, the Trussell Trust, said it distributed over 1 million three-day emergency food supplies to families in crisis last year. In 2012, it was just over 100,000. In a space of 5 years, that's a massive rise.
In northwest London, this food bank has seen an increase in people using their services.
When Michael first came here, he hadn't eaten for 2 days and it was difficult to bring himself to seek help.
My pride kicked in because I've never done it before, I've never used a food bank before. And I was a bit nervous when I first came. I just think it's the cost of living now, the cost of food now is phenomenal. To go and buy food, it's ridiculous. And a lot of people that use the services are on benefit, and the benefit they get don't cover them to pay for the whole week for food.
At the food bank, they say that poverty in the UK takes different forms.
The face of poverty just looks different in different areas. So for example, there is poverty in Africa, and there's very common image you see of someone experiencing poverty. Whereas in the UK, because it's a more affluent country, people don't seem to recognize it and see it as a problem, but it's just, I would say, invisible. So people don't tend to recognize it when they see it because they're used to a different image of what poverty should look like, meaning someone on the street or someone who, is an orphan. But there could be someone who, has a roof over their head but not the funds to afford food. That's still poverty.
It's not only adults that are suffering from UK austerity and its impacts. Britain, with the 5th largest economy in the world, is seeing growing rates of child poverty. Breakfast clubs in schools were initially set up for parents who drop their children off on their way to work. But in Birmingham, where 42% of children live in poverty, schools in the UK's 2nd largest city are increasingly seeing children turning up just needing to eat.
We have families where they're not able to sort of provide enough food for the children on the mornings or the main meals on the evenings. This is the worst it's been for over a decade.
And sometimes school staff have to step in to help.
Families really needed some help with making sure that they've got enough food at home for themselves and for their children. So we take our families to the local food banks and we'll make sure that they have, on 2 or 3 occasions, enough sort of foods that they can keep going until additional services or school can do more for them.
Nearly 500,000 of those using food banks last year were children. And with ongoing cuts as part of government austerity plans, there seems to be no end in sight to rising levels of poverty. Is this now the reality of modern-day Britain?